Welcome to the channel. I'm Dave from DDR Customs, and today we're going to have a look at the R Tech C30 plasma cutter. So let's get straight into it. Now you may say, why the R Tech C? The dog's going nuts outside, so you know, what can you do? Never work with kids and animals, they tell you. But never mind, we'll press on. Anyway, the R Tech C30 plasma cutter. Why the C30 and not a bigger one? Well, most of the stuff that I cut is between, well, 1mm and 5mm is about the biggest I do, usually for my plates for things like sissy bars. It's around the 5mm. So the C30 for me was ideal because it does a good cut at 30 amps on 8mm material, or it does a severance cut on 12mm material, which means you just got to go across it a couple of times. And so for me it was an ideal purchase. Why R Tech? I have an R Tech. So here's the machine. Let's have a quick look at it. On the front cover we have the digital dial, which gives you your amperage. The main dial changes the amperage, which I'll show you in a little while, and then you've got the pressure gauge. Now R Tech recommend working at about 55 psi for cutting, so I find that I've got this set at about just under 70 psi, which then works out quite nicely. Right, so that's the front of the machine done. Let's go around the back and have a look. And at the back we have the water trap. Most important that you keep your water out of your airline as much as possible for plasma cutting. It doesn't particularly like it. I've got two water traps on my airline coming in, plus this one on the back of the machine. So really, all in all, it's quite a simple machine to use, and we'll have a look at that next. So here we are with the front of the machine all set up and running. As you can see, we're running about 74 psi. I've got that set at the minute on coming out of the compressor. Obviously when we do the gas test, that now shows me I've got 50 psi, which will increase a little bit as the compressor kicks back in again. And that, for what we're going to show today, will be enough to do what we've got, material we're going to cut. So let's get it all set up, and we'll have a look at the consumables before we go any further. I'm just going to turn the machine off before I blow myself up or anything. So here's the cutting head. Now this one's needs a change really, but for today it'll do. So in the consumables we've got your porcelain, your tip, your electrode, which is double-ended, and your insulator. Now it's important that you keep these tip-top condition. This one's had about 8 cuts, so we're still okay for a minute. And now this is a drag tip, as you can see by the cross that's on there, and that means that I can run the material across the cutter across the top of the material without any problems. Now the only time you get a bit of blowback is if you're going to cut a circle, and you want to cut a circle in a solid piece. You've got to pierce through first, and that sometimes you get a bit of blowback, and that can damage the consumable. So really, all in all, for the cost of the machine, when I bought the machine, they were doing a special offer, and I got a pack of 80 consumables, so a whole set, 80 sets of consumables for cutting, which are great. I mean, it's just good value for money, and I find it absolutely a dream to use. So let's get it set up, get a bit of material on the table, and we'll have a look at it. Right, I've got the machine all set up now. This is 2mm I'm cutting it, 2mm plate. I'm just going to do a bit of a quick cut across here for you to have a look. So I'm set at 22 amps. I've got 70 psi and 50 on the gauge, on the cutting test gas cutter. So let's have a look. So what we're going to do with this now is just really just go across, just drag the whole thing across the piece of material. So it's quite simple. beautiful about this is that if you want to do a straight edge, you just get a piece of material, big piece of scrap, and you can just run straight down there, and that'll give you your cut, straight cut. So they're so easy. This is such an easy machine to use. Admittedly, I would have liked to CNC one, but you know, you're talking a lot of difference between one of these and the CNC. So for now, this does. As I say, we use a lot of templates when we're making stuff. And one of the templates we use is I'll grab it here for you. Is one of our clocks. So this is to make a clock template. So normally with that, you just place on the material and you follow it round. So obviously, depending on what you're doing, the holes here in the middle, because of the width of the machine, have to be bigger than you want, and the outside has to be slightly smaller than you want. But they work a treat. You can just go around, and every time you cut it out, it comes out the same. So that's using the templates with these. So let's have a look then. So all it is, we're just going to pull the trigger, the gas will flow, or the air will flow, and as we come in contact with the material, the arc will start, and we just go across. So let's have a look. So there we are, got a nice cut. So one thing you've got to remember with these is the secret of a good cut is the amperage, the air, and your travel speed. So it depends on how, if you're cutting right, like I was just then, all your materials going, all your blows going down. If you're going too fast, it'll go backwards. If you're going too slow, you just end up with a big blob underneath the machine. So let's just finish this cut off. And there we go, that's got that cut off. The air keeps going on these machines, a bit off-putting when you first do it, but the air keeps going. That cools your consumable down, and it helps cool your material down. And to be honest with you, you don't get a lot of dross on the back of these. If I can grab the bit out of that thing, that's the plasma table, everything drops through. So all we got here is on this is just a little bit of dross, but that all just knocks off quite easily, and you can do quite good little cuts. So there we have it. That's the R Tech C30 plasma cutter. Don't forget, I'll leave you a link in the description, and if you don't forget to subscribe and like, and we'll bring up some more tips and tricks and what have you going on as we're going through. We've got some a trike coming in a few weeks time, so we'll try and video all that with the build work that we do on that one. So that's it for today. We'll catch up with you soon. Take care.